The storm began long before the first thunder struck. It started the night Amelia knelt in the corner of the mansion's marble-floored living room, clutching her stomach, the faint sound of rain outside drowning beneath the echo of a man's rage. Her husband, Nathan Cross, the millionaire everyone admired, had just raised his hand again. His voice was a whip, his eyes cold as ice, and his heart, somewhere between arrogance and darkness, had forgotten what love meant. The world saw a charming entrepreneur, a man who smiled for cameras and donated millions to charity. But behind closed doors, he was the storm that tore through Amelia's fragile world, again and again, 300 times over the months that followed. She didn't count the bruises, she counted the heartbeats of the child inside her, praying each one would survive another night. Heartbreak. Before we dive deeper, please, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, like this video, subscribe to Kindness Vibes, and share this story with someone who still believes that love can heal even the deepest wounds. Heartbreak. Amelia had once been a bright light, the beloved daughter of Richard Hayes, the powerful CEO of Hayes International, a man whose name carried respect and fear in equal measure. She was raised in warmth, protected by her father's shadow, and taught that love was gentle. So when Nathan came into her life, polished, eloquent, and driven, she thought she'd found her forever. He was the golden man, his words smooth as silk, his laughter contagious, his love seemingly boundless. The wedding was a dream broadcast across media outlets, the union of power and elegance. The world envied her, and she smiled for the cameras, unaware that the man holding her hand that day would soon hold her by the throat. It started small, a harsh tone here, an unkind word there. Then came the jealousy. Nathan despised her father's wealth, the empire he couldn't control. He hated the bodyguards who followed her when she went shopping, the calls from her father checking in. Slowly, the love turned into something darker, possessive, controlling, venomous. And when Amelia became pregnant, Nathan's fury grew unbearable. He told her she had betrayed him, that she loved the unborn child more than him. He called her names that shattered her confidence and struck her with words that hurt more than fists, until the fists came, too. Every night, when the bruises bloomed like dark flowers across her skin, Amelia looked at her reflection and wondered if she had done something wrong, if this was somehow her punishment for believing in love too easily. The servants turned away, afraid of Nathan's wrath. The doctors were bribed into silence. And Amelia, trapped behind the golden gates of her own home, carried her pain alone. She prayed to God not for herself, but for her baby, that the child would be born into light, not darkness. Then one night, after another brutal beating, something broke inside her, not just a rib, but her spirit. She collapsed on the cold marble, clutching her belly as blood began to spread beneath her. The world blurred, and all she could whisper was her baby's name, a name she'd chosen in secret. That was the night her driver, an old family loyalist, couldn't take it anymore. He called Richard Hayes. When Richard arrived, he didn't come as a CEO, he came as a father. His heart stopped when he saw his daughter lying lifeless on the hospital bed, machines keeping her and the unborn child alive. Her body told a story of cruelty beyond imagination, 300 marks of pain, betrayal, and silence. The doctors said she might not survive. Richard, known to the business world as a ruthless man, sat by her bedside and wept like a child. For years, he had warned her, begged her to come home, but she had always defended Nathan. Now, the silence of the machines became his only answer. For days, Richard said nothing. He didn't lash out or call the police, not yet. He just waited. When Amelia finally opened her eyes, weak and broken, she didn't cry. She just whispered, "Don't hurt him, Dad." Those words shattered Richard's composure more than anything else ever could. He realized she was still kind, still forgiving, still seeing light where others saw only darkness. But a father's heart can only bend so far before it breaks. Richard swore that no one would ever touch his daughter again. He moved her into a hidden villa, surrounded her with guards, and made sure Nathan couldn't find her. But Nathan did find out, not about her location, but about the power that was now watching him. One morning, when he walked into his office, he found everything gone. His accounts frozen, his company stripped, his partners disappearing overnight. The empire he built on arrogance and cruelty crumbled like dust in his hands. The media that once called him a visionary, now called him a monster. Photos leaked. Stories spread. The same hands that had hurt Amelia now trembled in fear as his reputation burned to ashes. But even as Nathan's world collapsed, Amelia was still fighting, not for revenge, but for life. Her baby had survived the trauma, miraculously. When she gave birth to her daughter, she named her Hope. Holding the tiny hand, Amelia felt something she hadn't felt in months: peace. The scars remained, but in her heart, something stronger began to grow: courage. With time, therapy, and her father's unwavering support, she learned to stand again, to smile again. Months later, when Nathan finally appeared at the hospital gates, disheveled and begging for forgiveness, Amelia didn't hate him. She didn't forgive him, either, not in the way he wanted. She simply looked at him with quiet strength and said, "You can't hurt me anymore." Nathan fell to his knees, sobbing, realizing too late that the love he destroyed was the only thing that had ever made him human. Richard stood behind his daughter that day, not as a weapon, but as a wall. He didn't need to raise a hand. Justice had already found its way through truth, and time had done what power couldn't. Amelia's story spread across social media, a symbol of strength and survival. People who once pitied her now admired her. Women wrote to her, saying she had given them courage to leave, to speak, to heal. And in that way, Amelia's pain became something greater, a message. That no bruise, no betrayal, no broken dream could silence the human spirit when love, real love, returns in the form of self-respect. Her father eventually announced a foundation in her name, the Hope Initiative, dedicated to helping women trapped in abusive relationships. Amelia became its voice, speaking softly but powerfully about healing, forgiveness, and the strength to rebuild. Nathan disappeared from the headlines, forgotten by the world he once ruled. But Amelia's story lived on, not as a tale of tragedy, but as one of triumph. Dizzy, if this story touched your heart, if you believe no one deserves to suffer in silence, please like this video, share it with someone who might need strength today, and subscribe to Kindness Vibes to keep spreading light where darkness once lived. Dizzy.